Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Judith. If you're just stopping by for the first time, please don't make it your last by clicking the subscribe button to be part of this family. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for joining me today. And in today's video, we're going to be creating this bridal glam. I started off with the Mismetic Rose Water Toner to tone her skin and also cleanse her face, take out any dirt that is on her face. And I went into her skin with the Zaron hydrating serum to hydrate her skin and like leave it fresh for the next step. I applied that with a brush. I make sure it's well blended into her skin. Then I went into her skin with the moist portion from Mismetic to moisturize her skin. I just applied that with a brush and let it sink into her skin before going into it with the primer. This primer is the Rimmel Stay Matte. I applied the primer only on her T-zone where the primer is needed. I waited for a while for it to absorb into her skin before I went into her skin with the Nuban Beauty Liquid Illuminator. This is to add extra shine to her skin and make it glow through the foundation. Then I mixed these two foundations, the Maybelline Fit Me foundation in 312 and the Melanin foundation in number 11. This is to get her exact shade and her undertone. I made sure it's well blended into her skin before going into her skin with the concealer, the Nuban Beauty concealer. I used the light shade to highlight and I used the darker shade to contour. So I just apply little quantity on her skin because we don't want to have so much on the skin and not have complications when blending. Because the other concealer I used wasn't bright enough, I went into a lighter shade of Nuban Beauty concealer to top it up to increase the highlight on her face. So I waited for a while before blending that in. I blended that in with my beauty sponge. I made sure it just gets tacky a little bit before blending that in, and I went ahead while waiting for the under eye to get tacky enough, so I just went ahead to blend the contour. I'm blending the contour in with this little brush because her hair is made and I don't want to apply foundation on the lid, so I just went into it with this little brush to just blend that out properly. Then I went ahead to blend that to seal it in with my beauty sponge. Like as you can see in this video, I was just being careful because once the foundation touches the lace, it just messes everything up. Then I went ahead to blush her face with this Eye Magic Cream Lip Palette. Like I use this lip palette for almost all the makeup I do, so I just love the undertone and the way this color sits on her skin. Then I went ahead to blend her under eye because it's tacky enough. So when you let your concealer get tacky, it just gives you a good blend and gives you a full coverage. So because of the concealer, the blush and the contour, the concealer after blending took away some parts of the blush, so I just went ahead to take little blush to just apply it and seal that in. Then I went ahead to set under her eyes with the Nuban Beauty Alabaster, but before I do that, I set under the eyes first with a pressed powder. This will make the under eye look very smooth and flawless and it won't crease. So it's just better you set in first with a pressed powder before going into it with a setting powder. So in this video, I'm using my translucent powder. After setting with a setting powder, I make sure I blend under the eyes first before going into it with my translucent powder. Before you do apply any product under the eyes, you should blend under the eyes first because under the eyes tends to crease if it's just cream product you have there. Without a translucent powder or a setting powder under the eyes, it tends to crease, so you should blend under the eyes first. So I just went ahead to set every part of her face where I applied the concealer. So in this video, I didn't do a cream contour, so I just used this my Melanin Compact powder in deep to contour her nose because this, I love the undertone this has and it just works with her undertone. So that's why I didn't go ahead to do the cream contour. I just opted for a powder contour and this just works perfectly well for me. So I went ahead to set her brow bone with a powder because now we're going to be doing her eyes. So I just set the brow bone with a powder and apply powder every other part of the face with a little brush where the powder did not touch. Then for her eyes, we are going to be using this Inglot palette. At the point where when I brought out the palette, I didn't know what I was going to do on her eyes. I was just working as the spirit leads. So what I did here, I used a light shade of orange from the palette as a transition. Then I went ahead to darken the outer corner of the eyes with a light shade of brown. I just kept blending and blending because if a good eye work is blending, so you have to keep blending so there is no demarcation between your transition, your contour, your eyeshadow primer and all. So I'm using the Tara eyeshadow base on her eyelid. I applied that with a brush and used my fingers to just blend that in, and I'm using this brush to just seal that in with a nude shade from this my Color Studio eyeshadow palette. So I just blend that in. I used an animal hair brush to apply that, so I just use my fluffy blending brush to just blend that into the brown, and I'm using a darker shade from the Inglot palette to smudge under her eyes. I did that and I blended that into the brown on her eyelid and the outer corner of her eyes. Then I went ahead to line her waterline with a purple pencil, which I finally switched to pink. I went on her eyelid with a glitter glue, and I'm placing a good glitter on her eyelid using my synthetic brush. Then I used my hand to just blend that in and make it pop the more. Then I went ahead to line her lash line and the outer corner of her eyes with my gel liner from Beyond Beauty. I gave the eyes a very sharp wing because she has like this cat eyes illusion, so I just use that wing to like pop it and make the eyes look like a dream. So I went ahead to use my Zaron mascara on her lashes. Then I just applied the false lashes off the camera. So using my La Vida Amanda powder palette to just set all over her face and her under eyes, just blend out the powder. So what I'm doing basically here, I'm just blending out and topping the blush on her face. So I'm just basically blending and setting all over her face. Then I went ahead to spray her face with this setting spray from Novan Beauty. This spray just brings all the makeup and make it into one layer. I let it dry almost completely before I just use my beauty sponge to just seal everything in together. If you can see from this video, it's just looking into one layer, and all the powdery effects that was on her face are all gone. So I just went ahead to do her lips, lining with my Eye Magic cream lip palette, the brown in the lip. Then I just went ahead with my Blood Cosmetic lipstick inside her lip. So I'm just basically blending out and just trying to seal that together so there won't be any demarcation. So I went ahead with my Inglot lip gloss on her lip, applied it until told her to smack, so it just comes together. So if you're not comfortable telling your client or model to smack, you can always blend it with your brush, but it's easier to just tell them to smack. So I'm just cleaning up the excesses from her lip with a concealer from my tiny brush. Then for her highlighter or to glow her face, I used the Tehila Beauty blush stroke highlighter palette. I mixed the two shades I showed you in this video, so I just took the excesses to her brow bone. To pop her eyes the more, I went into the inner corner of the eyes with highlighter just to pop it, and I just use a tiny brush to just apply on the bridge of her nose. And I'm using my Inglot body sparkle to just add more shine to her face, just for it to sparkle from within. So just little sparkle on her face. So to add volume to her lower lashes, I went in with my Zaron mascara to add volume to my lower lashes. This is going to make the eyes look more awake. So next I went in again with my Novan Beauty setting spray just to set and finish everything together. And guys, this is the finished look. I am loving this look. It turned out really nice and really beautiful. So guys, please give this video a very big thumbs up if you enjoyed as much as I did creating this look. Subscribe to my channel if you're yet to subscribe. Turn on the post notification to my post so you'll be the first to be notified when I post new amazing videos like this. Share these videos with your friend because sharing is caring, guys. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye for now.